our various channels. It's been a while since we've seen you, and we've come back with some great stuff for you. As usual, I am Justin Hacker, one of the founders of Uncanny Lab Limited, and joining me is Fuad Mia,
Hello, everyone.
my co-founder. What
It's
are we
been a
talking about today, Fuad?
well. I think a very, really important topic, and it is about how we can get more smarter. Um, the right term would be how we can actually work more intelligently at scale,
Mm.
and 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 to do that, we have to become real-time businesses, and we're going to look into that more, what it means to become real-time business.
Well, and I think there's something you've been correcting everybody under the sun with the last week. Define what traditionally smart meant.
Great question. And I think we've been doing that for the last 10 years very much. We have been uh, ingesting programmatic automations in our workflow. For example, if this, then that. That has been,
It was smart because some developer wrote some kind of, regular expression that recognized words, and there was a list, and it did it automatically. So okay, what's the difference between that and intelligent?
well, and let's draw an example that would resonate with all of us. For example, in marketing and customer communication, a lot of email platforms allowed you to segment your customer audience databases, or sorry, segments based on certain dimensions, like whether they interacted with you on your website, if they abandoned your cart. And then you could send them a specific email that would resonate with them based on the journey where they are. And that's pretty smart. We have done that, and it worked. It produced millions of dollars for our customers. But now we can actually add intelligence in addition to those programmatic smart segments. And what we mean by that is, what if we could suddenly add dimensions like emotional intelligence? Customers who are most likely to buy with a positive sentiment. So imagine you could actually run a predictive model, customers who are most likely to buy, and there you ingest all kinds of dimensions, user events such as whether user is happy or not from other models, let's say sensitive sentiment analysis and so forth, and predictive modeling that could be simple from collaborative filtering, what customer is most likely to do next. You combine
And, and
all of those intelligent models and emotional intelligence put together, and of course not forgetting your smart way of working, the things that you did last 10 years, put them together, and now you have a super powerful intelligent way of working.
so basically, the intelligent automations are less rigid. They can understand things more than the programmatic ways we've been doing things. So we can read between the lines a little. Because I mean, previously you could tell if someone was upset, but they pretty much had to say it. It had to word match. I'm upset. I'm angry. Whereas now, passive aggressiveness and what's bubbling below the surface can be understood by AI, which I think is sweet, pretty cool.
And Justin, if I can
Um,
add another example to that, let's think about personalization perspective, which we're going to dig deeper a little bit later, but it's probably important to add this in the earlier stages of our conversation. We did personalization based on new visitors or returning visitors, let's say. We did personalization based on what users' current temperature when they're visiting our website. Um, and those were really smart. Think about selling umbrellas, um, or think about selling seasonal boots and things that are seasonal. And if you had a global website, if you could deliver the right products based on, simple weather trends, most likely product that could be in demand at that moment for that user, excellent personalization. But on top of that, now if you could put, for example, recommendation AI that starts understanding users behavior, that starts understanding the product cycle, characteristics, and so forth. And through machine learning models, you could actually understand what is what is the most product that that user, particular user, is likely to buy. And these kind of models keep getting smarter and smarter. If you put it today, a year from now on, it would actually understand your users very, very different than those programmatic personalization. A collaborative filtering is a great example versus programmatic personalization.
Absolutely. Well, I think we had some examples we wanted to show various things here. Why don't we start with what do you want to start with?
Operational efficiency is a big area where working intelligently is delivering tremendous scalability efficiency, as we have started seeing. Organizations have have piloted this over the last year or so, as you and I, Justin, have been working on this very hands-on. And as we see that they're actually getting out of their piloting and productionizing this, the result is absolutely something that you can't ignore. It is really, really great. People are loving it. These kind of automations are contributing to reducing burnout. Uh, and overall, imagine being able to reduce your work days. Because aggregatedly, the number of hours and the burnout that you can reduce from your workday, it's something significant. Let's take a look.
Well, I just read a study last night actually that the 4-day work week actually was successful. So it's interesting because I'm wondering how much technologies like this play into that, and if they haven't, could we have a 3-day work week?
Absolutely. So Justin, I was thinking maybe you could show some examples, and we could show.
Yeah, why don't we show that Google video? So this is from Google, and it's a kind of a thought exercise they've created for a fictional customer. Um, a AI that can help you classify items in your inbox intelligently. Um, and I believe what we're going to hear from is one of their developers who is going to explain just exactly what's happening. Secret Agent is the hypothetical AI here, and Secret Agent is going to help us discover some stuff about clients.
And I think what Justin is about to show, one of the very common things that we all have to go through, either on a daily basis, or let's say you have had a couple of days off, you come back, your email is full of things that you become anxious. What are you going to address first? Priority management is something that we all have to deal with on a daily basis, and if AI could assist us, imagine how helpful that would be. And let's see. Thank you, Justin. Oh, we can't hear the audio.
Oh, we can't. What have I done wrong? One sec.
No worries.
I'm still fresh at this. It's been a while. All right, let's try that again.
Musical organization in order to prioritize his activities. So Greg decides to give that a shot. So he identifies the add-on that was delivered by his company, and he sees there is an interesting option, which is identify angry customers. So that sounds definitely the right place to start. So when he clicks on that, Google is basically running a sentiment analysis on all his emails and identifying every email with an upset tone and is marking that clearly with a label. Now, in this specific case, once an email with an upset tone has been identified, the action taken is to mark it for Greg's attention. But other potential options could be to escalate, to create an escalation path for this based on the industry of the company. So in some cases, you might want simply to have all the upset tones emails being eventually forwarded to a supervisor or to a customer success tool team or to a support team. So you can decide what's the best route or the best way in your organization to actually deal with an upset email coming through. In this case, Greg immediately sees that there is an email with an upset tone, and it's a good place to start when you don't know where to start. Angry customers need always attention. So he opens the email and he realizes that there is a customer that was actually waiting for an offer before he left for paternity leave, and he forgot. So now what he has to do is to quickly work an offer to send it over to his customer waiting for this offer. But in order to do that, you will need to find all the documents that the customer sent, and that documentation is buried in his mailbox. So it's not going to be easy to find all the documents that were sent. So at this point, Greg turns again toward Agent T for some help and asking, how can I find the right attachments? So Agent T tries to suggest again some answer for him. So he points Greg toward a deck that explains possible ways to find attachments into your mailbox. So the first route is use the advanced filter of Gmail to find the emails and with more rich criteria in terms of search criteria. Another way, though, is to, again, use the Secret Agents Toolbox. This is the add-on provided by the company. And Greg decides to give that a shot. So he goes back to his mailbox and identifies the add-on, and he sees an option, classify my attachments. So clicking on that at this point, Google is running an analysis on all the attachments in Greg's unread emails and is trying to classify those attachments. Now, this is not a standard AI model, but this is an AI model that has been trained by the company to recognize the type of documents the company deals with every day. So the company trained a model with some examples of mortgage statement or type of documents that are relevant for them. And this model can then identify them and mark them clearly. So the analysis is complete. So we can see that I have a quick summary of the type of documents that are stored in my attachments in my mailbox. And all the mails with attachments have been clearly marked with a type of document. Now, this has several advantages. First one being that since every document is clearly marked with a label, I can, of course, find in my labels all the mortgage statements I receive via emails, all the identity documents I receive via email. But the other pro is that I can mitigate human mistakes. For example, if I would be waiting for a mortgage statement from my customer Alice, if I would open this email, I can see that Alice sent me an attachment saying, this is my latest bank statement. But the AI says that this is not a bank statement, this is a mortgage statement. And if I open it, the AI is actually right. So basically, Alice made a mistake writing an email, which it happens. That's normal. So, but if I was looking for a mortgage statement.
Well, that was pretty cool, Fuad.
Thank you, Justin. Um, I think, especially the part when when they showed that the attachment actually was, sorry, a mortgage statement. but it wasn't. It was something else, or so vice
Well,
versa.
no, she had said it was a bank statement when in fact it was the mortgage statement, which is really common when people send you files. I mean, they're not mortgage specialists or bank statement specialists. They send the file they think is whatever, and it's up to the receiver to figure it out.
Yeah. And imagine this kind of things being done at scale. What Justin and I often also find challenging sometimes, or used to before our own custom filing management using AI, was, a certain document, we would think it was in a spreadsheet. But in reality, it was actually just a document. So even sometimes filtering uh, with things that we think, may not be right. So search often had become discovery had become really tough at times.
Mhm.
With this, just because everything in real time as they are coming to your organization are being categorized using different kinds of intelligence. You could actually use classification, vision intelligence. In our case, we're doing a lot more than just classification. We are actually reading the document, uh, a uh, 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 specific artifacts of the document, and using those artifacts uh, to also name the files. Let's say, so for example, if we are looking at an invoice, an invoice has a date and a vendor name, items that we bought from them, and so forth. We would be reading all of those and taking the right information and putting it into the right place. So, for example, in this particular case, we'll be taking that invoice, reading that, and embedding that into QuickBook as long as it matches certain business rules and so forth. And then we have in between a middle layer for those that don't go through for humans, for us to look at and then process. But
And I
it just
and I think yeah, I think what's worth noting too is when he said that it's trained specifically for the business itself. So in this example, it was actually a fictitious bank. I remembered a little bit more about it while we were watching it. So they've trained it on the financial documents that they commonly receive from people. But if you were a design agency, you would train it on, content. You would train it on images. You would train it on whatever. If you were a construction company, you would train it on the various construction documents, need permits, all the red tape stuff. So it's very highly customized to like what you're doing with it. It's not just some off the shelf thing that's going to get it right or wrong.
And also, let's be creative. You can actually add different types of narrow intelligence put together that fits your workflow. You could actually use natural language intelligence. You could use vision intelligence, classification, all of those put together, and then your automation could be a very powerful, efficient solution. Now, Justin, if you're not running out of time for this particular part of the section, let's actually look at the quality inspection and that example. Now, here, particularly, imagine this is actually where AI is so ripe for automating the entire process, and what we have been seeing, Justin and I, that it is being used at mass now. And so if you haven't been doing automation, intelligent automation in your quality inspection, then
Hmm.
some it is time.
Well, yeah, and I think because of the advances in places like medicine, where we're actually seeing radiologists not being the most accurate anymore, AI has actually kind of overtaken them. Um, the AI can actually, I don't see more, through various sensors, even vision, than even the human eye could, and it doesn't get tired, it doesn't get bored, it doesn't have a tunnel vision. Um, so at scale, you can deploy these types of quality control measures, and you know, you gain all the benefits of having a workforce that can't be any of those things.
Yeah, and ultimate benefits is time to market, faster, less and less, human errors. And when we have more space and time to actually look at problems within quality inspection from human capacity, such as other design problems and so forth, it all leads ultimately to lot of gains at the bottom line for the bottom line of the company. And again, vision intelligence has been ready for a while now, and these kind of solutions could be implemented very fast.
Absolutely.
Cool. Now let's talk about productivity. I mean, we talked about productivity a little bit already in our first examples, uh, but let's talk about much more intelligent productivity, decision making that previously required only us human could do. But now there are some opportunities where we can augment our decision making much faster and much more intelligent, as well as some automations that could definitely enable us again to do things that we would like to do. So let's take a look at Blue Cap, Justin, I believe.
Yep, just queuing it up. Mm.
Now, conversation intelligence, as we all know, has evolved over the last couple of years. And as we speak, I believe GPT-4 should be coming out soon, Justin, if I'm not wrong.
Ooh. Well, I know they just came out with an upgraded model for 3. That is a poet and a scholar. Have you seen the things it's been writing?
I haven't yet. No.
Apparently, it can make lyrically sound, uh, songs and poems, which is crazy.
Well, I did
Not
write
that that helps us too much.
I did write some social posts using generative language
Oh, there you go.
intelligence. It does much better job than I would do. Now, conversation intelligence for uh, optimizing operational efficiency, delighting customers. As you know, it's been the gift for us, and there are so many ways you could be using conversation intelligence. But when it comes to helping us working better, augmenting our capabilities at work, Blue Cap excels at that. We are detecting from implicit and explicit signals what could be possibly time sensitive and important context, and then generating them in human natural language for the user to consume. That's that's almost like having intelligent executive assistant with you all the time, always keeping a third eye from your conversations, emails, interactions, and then extracting things that you need to know, you need to work on, that are time sensitive. I,
Yeah, I like what Blue Cap does in those regards because I mean, even just the introduction here, telling me who my most important meeting is and why, um, reminding me of important matters that I haven't dealt with yet, which I definitely have not researched into cardiac rehabilitation yet, but that was one of our takeaways from last week.
that's amazing. And and it's also giving you a deeper look into what possible implicit risks that you may not have thought about it during your conversation, and it's again giving you a window into those risks with ability to further analyze that conversation. So it's not just also a dashboard that you just take metrics and 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 you cannot really look any deeper from there. It is an interactive tool that allows you to go deeper from here if you want to look and understand why that risk, what are the conversations around those, and what are the other artifacts and so forth. We also are pulling opportunities. So yes, it's like it's continuous, it's intelligence that's being produced from your conversations, real time conversations, and previous conversations, but it's continually giving you this intelligence as your interactions are happening.
Which is handy because if you didn't have that, you would have to go back and kind of analyze this yourself and assess this risk, assess this opportunity. And a lot of the time, that's where you can lose a lot of information. You miss out on opportunity because, well, you're looking at the opportunity right in front of you, but you haven't thought of the six other things that are left on the table.
Yeah, and it's a great example of continuous intelligence. Thank you, Justin. I think we have some more stuff to show.
Sure.
Do we?
Do we? Do we? Well, I see that we're working on delight customer as the last little segment here.
Oh, yes. Now, that's another big area, and we have all been experiencing that to some degree, where we go to a site or we call. I've actually recently experienced this with CIBC Bank. I had to say what I wanted, and it understood and it prompted me with the right services, as opposed to going through all these different, prompts and.
That that is refreshing compared to press 1 for this department. The items in this menu have changed. Now press 3. It's
And
just that's not warm, it's not welcoming, it's frustrating. And chances are if you're calling your bank, you are, in need of some calming down.
And there's some other elements that we should note down here. They had my phone number, so they know that the number I'm calling from, again, smart, not intelligent yet, but hold on. And then it also used my voice as an identifier. So combination of my phone number and my voice. So they didn't have to go through when I was talking to the agent with multiple combined, other verification processes. They just had to ask me another piece of information combined with those two, my voice ID and my phone number. Boom, the business started. We were in our business conversation as opposed to have 5 minutes of just identification and all of those things.
Yes, line 600 of your tax return.
Now let's take a look at a more advanced business use case. I'm not saying that that's not an advanced use case, uh, but how we have for one customer blended the physical world and the digital world and bringing all these artifacts together to produce even more intelligent experience. So yes, there is personalization involved, but personalization based on artificial intelligence and the models that we are using, where the data that we are feeding are so much smarter. So altogether, it's becoming smart, intelligent, a very powerful solution. So here, Justin, if you want to explain a little bit what's happening, and then we can talk about how the intelligence combined together, what it's delivering.
Yeah, so I mean, the journey here starts at the in-person version of this, but this is for a hypothetical home sale. They're looking to buy a home. This couple, they've done their online browsing. We've shown them better and better results by learning a little bit about them with collaborative filtering and recommendations. And I don't know if you want to give a very brief overview on what that is, Fuad.
Yeah, absolutely. So the recommendation engine that we are offering here is based on deep learning that considers data in terms of what the user characteristics are, young, what they like, what they don't like, and then the product characteristics, which in this case are houses, what square footage, how many bedrooms, what are the pictures look like, all of this.
Yeah, what have they spent the most time looking at in each house?
Right, all of this data we're feeding into our recommendation engine, which is based on deep learning. Yeah, so that's what our recommendation engine is, Justin.
So they've gone through that process and they favorited a few models that they enjoyed. And now they've gone to the sales center and to talk to someone about it. So, when they arrive, they check in via QR code, and that actually connects their online session with this offline session because we had their email from when they saved their favorites. Now we have their check in with that email, so we know what they've done up to this point with the recommendation engine. As they cycle through the sales center, if someone's not available to talk to them right away, they can scan additional QR codes to get additional information sent to them about, kitchens or, floor plan configurations or things like that. And this is also, as we're doing this, slyly building on that recommendation engine, understanding of who these people are and what they like. Um, as they get to the actual salesperson, they're now going to have a conversation that is recorded um, with a technology like Blue Cap. And what Blue Cap's going to do is it's going to pick out the salient details of that conversation, the entities. Um, during the conversation here, they talked about barbecuing on the back in the backyard because they lived in an apartment. They couldn't do that before, so they have an affinity for barbecuing, which can also allow our AI to infer these people like cooking, which we already know because they've looked at kitchens on every single home they've looked at. So we're going to want to present floor plans with big, wide open kitchens, uh, a nice deck in the yard, things like that. They also enjoy camping is one of the passing conversations. And like, you're here to buy a house. So you're not, talking about camping. It's just maybe a one-off, line of conversation where you're just doing small talk with the customer, but it comes out that, they enjoy that or they like a sports team or something like that. So if we know they enjoy camping, they're probably outdoorsy people. So we want to put them in a neighborhood that is, suitable to that lifestyle. And we want to show them additional recommendations later on in the funnel uh, for that lifestyle,
And
for those
Justin,
that match.
if I may add a little bit, traditionally would be segmenting this by this data, would be capturing this, and then it would be subject matter experts would say, hey, these people like camping, show them that ad or send them that email. And that's what's changing now. We don't have to do that anymore because machines now would understand from this data what email should be the best email to send.
Well,
Now,
and I want to point out as well that this conversation with the sales representative would not be so well documented either without AI. AI is allowing us to pull these informations out of it. Whereas if the salesperson was just writing a summary of this interaction, the camping wouldn't be there. The barbecuing probably wouldn't be there. It would be what the salesperson feels they want rather than what they've actually said they
absolutely. And the
want.
beauty of going from smart to intelligent is that now there's more capability of understanding the irrational connections through these layers. And the machine would be able to understand that beyond logics. So you and I no longer have to say, hey, send them the barbecue ad because they liked barbecue. Send them the show them actually the neighborhood that has more nature. What if they like nature but subconsciously they don't like anything that has to do with nature that they buy? And those are the connections now your AI would be able to make and serve them the right copy, the content, the email that you have from your creative library.
And, as we all know, it's not any single touch point that creates a sale. It's, the cumulative version of everything. So after they're done talking to that salesperson, chances are you're remarketing to them, you're sending additional emails. In this case, they're getting a summary of the conversation with the sales agent with some additional recommendations for things that, the AI has decided that they would like. Um, and that kind of continues on until there's a sale. And the beauty of it is once there's that sale, we now have additional data from this journey to better train the recommendation engine to serve the next client even better.
And this is a great example, Justin, of taking different spaces and putting them together, joining the data, understanding the full journey of your customer, and in between using all of those insights and delivering them personalized experiences driven by AI. Um, Powerful.
I think personalization is one of the best ways we can use AI in the marketing process. I mean, it's something that we used to do manually to quite a big extent and kind of just get it right for most people. But with the advent of AI, you can get a personalized experience for every single user. Um,
Absolutely.
we
And
were just talking the other day how generative text could be used to create website content that is literally speaking to the person that's looking at it.
100%. And I think in terms of ultimate solutions, you need to think about, at least now, hybrid solutions. So even for example, what we talked about here in terms of producing, they're not producing, but being able to pick the right creative by AI and delivering that at the right stage of the journey and so forth. But ultimately, your solutions should consist of hybrid subject matter expertise and your predictive modeling. Keep a very close eye and find the right refinement that you need. And what you have to remember is that your customers are changing. So, for example, let's go back collaborative filtering. If you had built one for recommendation of products 5 years ago, and and your customers have changed over the 5 years, some machines would understand that, but some models, you, for example, classification, that you have to closely keep an eye because the behaviors change, and is your model relevant anymore? So those kind of things you have to be aware that it's not one time, it's organic.
Absolutely. And I think that's where AI, gets it right as well too, because it has the, unhuman capacity of being able to remember every detail. Data is forever, or at least for as long as you want to store it.
Yeah. So that was it. If you have any questions, let's take them. If not, Justin, this was
Yeah, and
great.
I mean, everyone, feel free to comment on the video at specific sections you like. Always start a conversation with us. We will engage with anyone, literally. All right,
Awesome.
Fuad, any last words?
No, I think that's it. Thank you so much. Other than that, we're coming back again next week with some exciting topics.
Excellent.
Stay
Everyone
tuned.
can check us out at www.uclab.ai or www.bluecap.ai, respectively.
Thank you.
Have a good one.